those schools, they are dying. They can't die when we are just looking on.
During this engagement with members of Parliament, the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, the Most Reverend Dr. Samuel Kaziimba Mugalu, expressed disappointment over the government's decision to shut down some primary teachers' colleges, PTCs.
We have 5,200 primary schools. We have 520 secondary schools, and we have 5 universities. Some primary teachers' colleges are being closed without proper communication from the government. And yet, the government, as partners with the church, should come out and see how they can reinforce these schools in infrastructures, but also in training the teachers. Like Canon Lawrence in Lango, this is where Archbishop Janani Room trained because he was a teacher. And now we are hearing they are closing that school. Among others, there are a number of PTCs, primary church college, they are closed, and mostly for our church. So I pray that the government will revisit. Whoever came up with this idea, it wasn't a good thing.
Busiro East legislator Honorable Medad Lubega Segona wondered why the government would close what they do not own in the first place.
The government is introducing UPE and USE, but closing down those institutions which are supposed to provide the teachers. And yet at the same time, in most cases you find that the institutions targeted are Anglican institutions. I am not very sure about the others, but I'm very sure about the Anglicans. And you really wonder, one, you have closed them down, but you've not allowed the founding institutions, the founding bodies, an opportunity, first of all, to raise money and probably rechannel them to another use that you consider important. How does government come in to close what it does not own? You're saying this is a government-aided school. Now you're aiding and then you're breaking.
The Archbishop, who also spoke tough on the mismanagement of church-founded schools by government, called for dialogue between the church and the state to forge consensus on better ways of managing church-owned but government-aided schools.
We have schools in our churches where the government is paying like 20% or 30% of the teachers, or 50%. And the rest of the teachers are paid by resources from the parents. So when they say nothing should be corrected, it should be really an issue, and it calls for dialogue where the teachers, the stakeholders, the church, they all meet and say, now, if the government is not really interested in parents contributing anything, what is the way forward? Also an area of city schools. City school, it's a good thing, but when we hear that city schools, the government is not interested in seeing the church and the foundation body continuing the way it has been in the past, I think this is not a good thing. We are really wondering what happened.
According to Honorable Segona, such actions by the government have contributed to the appalling situation of church infrastructure.
When we were growing up as children, we were paying a particular sum going to the founding body, which is the church. When the government took over and decided to introduce UPE and USE, and therefore paying for the children, that component was left out, and therefore the government is not contributing any coin to the founding bodies. And yet the government says no payment, in other words, zero pay for school-going children. We appreciate the desire to educate the children of this nation, but we must also not forget that the founding body has an interest and must be able to benefit from those establishments. As a result of that, you can see that the institutions that we established are collapsing.
The Archbishop also appealed to the government to clear its debts to the church, stressing that failure by government to give the church what rightfully belongs to it has retarded development.
The church has a lot of land where the government is actually occupying right now, like Makerere land, where there is a faculty of veterinary medicine. That land belongs to the church, and they must pay us like 42 billions, but they haven't paid us. Discussions are going on, and we think and hope will be put in the budget, because when we get this money, it will help us to clear the church debt, the church house debt, and also other projects that are needed for income generating. Other piece of land elsewhere, we need to have more discussions and dialogue. But the challenge is, when it comes to government compensating church, we are not a priority.
The Church of Uganda Family TV Managing Director Amos Mwesje encouraged the Parliamentary Commission to partner with the TV station for their projects.
But I thought that you'd help us and support this TV station in about 6 ways. One of them is to watch it, come to us, advertise, and let us have the business, because we need it, but also you need us. The other thing that you can also do is to sponsor programs, because like that Bishop's Hour or any other programs that we are running can be sponsored.
The Archbishop called this meeting with the Anglican members of Parliament to address key issues between the government and the Church of Uganda.
This meeting is very, very important because it's supposed to provide a forum for discussion and, interactions between the members of Parliament and Archbishop in regards to the church's development programs, Church of Uganda's institutions, those from the legislators, because remember, they are the people who make the laws. They must understand a lot of issues concerning now, for this meeting, the church.
On 3rd April 2023, the government began the process to phase out at least 23 primary teachers' colleges and indefinitely close them. The government is officially phasing out grade 3 and grade 5 teaching qualifications in favor of a bachelor's degree in education. According to government, the national teacher policy conceived in 2019 would streamline, professionalize, and improve the quality of teacher education. The policy requires that all teachers from pre-primary should have a minimum qualification of a bachelor's degree. Under the policy, the Uganda National Institute of Teacher Education, UNITE, will take on the role of handling teacher education, which is currently under Chambogo University. Previously, this was done by the Institute of Teacher Education, Chambogo. John